So describe your first role to us. How was it? How did you get your first role? And how was your experience in your first role? What was your role title actually before you began?
So my role was UX UI designer, and I worked for a London council. So that was my first role. So I don't know how I had to explain this one. I remember when I was getting the role, you know, when you see the alumni, you look at the industries they work in.
Yeah.
I don't think I came across anyone that had worked in public sector.
Okay.
So I initially imagined myself going into like either a proper techie company or retail like ASOS or PLT or like Sky, BT, places where the role of a UX UI designer has been solidified. I went into an industry where they didn't even know what UX UI designer was, and they had only put the listing up because it was during the pandemic, and when people are relying on online services and things like that, people had realized, okay, we need to our online like platform to make sense, so they brought in a UX UI designer. So I was going into there with a company that had no idea as to what the role entailed, so I kind of had to build it from scratch. So and being the sole like the only UI UX designer in a team of non-designers. So my teammates were like business analysts.
Oh my gosh, girl.
Service design leads. Yeah. So it was just, and for it kind of went against everything that I had learned within the boot camp and within my mentoring, because I was speaking with people that are, I work in a team of 6 designers, or I have a senior
it was
designer.
Very collaborative.
Yeah. So I hadn't really thought of the possibility of going into a team where there's no senior designer and there's no team of designers.
Yeah.
There's like, you're just going in, they're just slotted you in somewhere.
Yeah.
So that aspect of it was very daunting. It was very confusing. I did find it very difficult, I won't lie to you, but it was the period where I was able to learn the most.
Oh wow.
Because there was no one, you had to.
Yeah.
There was no one else to.
There
was no senior designer to say, have I you? Yeah. So it's the season that I would say I grew the most as a designer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And did you know that was what it was going to be before you got into it, or did you get there and you were like, hello, where's the design team?
How they had sold it to me in the interview was that, we need a designer, we have a web team, blah blah. I didn't know that I would not be working with the web team. The web team was a separate team.
Wow.
So, and it had reached a point that I was applying for 7 months. So literally anything that you guys would give me, I would take it.
Because once you get your foot in, guys,
listen,
the choices, you're spoiled for choice, but it's really getting the foot in.
Honestly, I was like, you will employ, I will go. So I can't act like, but it was a beggars can't be choosers moment.
And like, how was it working by yourself as a designer? Were you even more critical than you are now?
So it made me own my design and be more attentive to my designs a lot more, because there isn't like I said, there isn't a team of designers or someone to sense check. So if I'm doing a presentation on design, I need to come with my stuff that this is why I've designed this. And I would find a lot of the times they'll be like, they saw me as kind of the pro for design.
That's good. That helps.
Because they there was that as well, but they didn't have a design knowledge. So it kind of put me in a sink or swim situation where you're forced to level up, you're forced to do your own research. I remember for the first few months I was working overtime, trying to like catch up on work, trying to understand.
Ooh, that was me
and
too.
a lot of things, a lot of that, I know it's not good, but sometimes it's needed. Those are the situations that you grow the most, like you need to really immerse yourself in the industry. But it was all needed. And I wouldn't change it.
Really? Oh wow, that's really interesting that like you had that experience of just kind of like having to like you said, sink or swim. Like you had to figure it out. And I think it really helps that you had colleagues around you who valued your knowledge. Because I feel like if you are in a group, in a team, in a company where they're literally just like, you design and be quiet. We tell you what we need, you do it and sit in the corner. You sit in a dark room somewhere and just churn out these designs. I feel like it makes a world of difference when your opinion and your voice is valued.
And you need that like creative space as well. Like I would go to a manager like, have you noticed that there's this on the website? And he'll be like, design it.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, but I didn't know that. Is that design it? Make a presentation and bring it back to me. I was like, just me?
You see?
So it really gave me that creative space to just learn on the job, but as like just do what I thought I needed to do and present it back to them. And you'd find that something I designed for fun is now being presented and is now being implemented. So seeing stuff like your work come into fruition was a good aspect of the job. They really I think they really valued me as a designer. Like
that moment of seeing your design in real life, like you could refresh the page on a real URL and your design is there.
I remember when my first project went live at the council that I worked in. It was, so I remember starting, and within the first 2 weeks they gave me a massive project to do on my own, and the scope was so vague, and it was like, okay, the scope is vague, but we just wanted to see what you do.
It's always vague.
By the time I delivered that project, just the amount of times I refreshed that thing, I was like, what? So these are my wireframes like? It's just a sense of fulfillment that I just, till this day, I love that feeling. Like just seeing your designs come to life, seeing all the design decisions you've made, like all the meetings that you were in, trying to defend certain things, like, no, this has to go on the page, like seeing it come to fruition. It's just a feeling that you can't beat. And it just reminds you why you chose the career. So when you started your first role, was there anything surprising about the industry? Did you think it was a lot easier than you thought it was going to be, or was there anything surprising at all? A lot of things surprised me, and I know I keep going on about this, but the public speaking really surprised me in that role.
Especially if you're the only one.
Listen, to the point where I was saying to my friends, if I had known that there was this much public speaking, I don't think I would have applied. I would have gone into this career, because I came from a job or an industry where there was no speaking. The culture was for you to just sit at your desk. I didn't have to speak to any seniors. And now I'm in a meeting with like board of directors, and I have to present to them as to why we need to implement this new piece of technology to support this on the website. It was a lot of public speaking. I don't think you couldn't have prepped me for that. Really? A lot of public speaking. I didn't know it included that much. I'm not trying to put anyone off.
Guys.
But you will pick it up.
Public speaking, go to a different aspect of UX UI, but still stay with us.
You will pick it up. You will pick it up with the amount that you do. By the end of it, it's just like, and with the manager I had, like, he would give me maybe 1 week notice that, you're presenting in front of the board of directors next week, and I'm like, sorry.
That's still some notice, Sha.
It's true. But for someone that's quite introverted and afraid of public speaking, I need like a couple of weeks to mentally prepare myself.
Oh, wow. Well, apart from the public speaking scariness of it all, what part of your job, your first role, was the most interesting to you? What did you learn the most, and what was the most interesting part?
What did I learn the most? That's a good question. Probably how to liaise with stakeholders. I think that's a very good quality that you need as a UX UI designer,
especially if you want to be quite senior.
Exactly. That's not something that's taught on the boot camp, but you're told about it, but you're not really given the practice to do it. You're just told, you have to liaise with stakeholders and get their buy-in and blah blah blah. That is a really good skill that you have to bring in. So a lot of designers can get bogged down by, let's say you're trying to get buy-in from stakeholders and just looking at the aesthetics of the whatever design that you've designed. Talking about accessibility is good, I understand, but talking about the visual aspects of what you've designed, some of these stakeholders, they don't give a heck. So you need to come in from both angles and understand, if we don't do X, this will affect Z. Company values, how this helps our mission statement, how you have to kind of see things, as well as sitting in the shoes of the customer. You have to kind of sit in their shoes as well, and include things in research and do research on what their values are
exactly
for your things to actually further within the company. That is something that shocked me. So I remember a lot of the presentations I'll do, accessibility, WCAG, we have to do this.
They don't care about that, girl.
They do not give a heck. They don't. And to you, it's like those are the things that are high up there, like with your values, and you're thinking, why wouldn't you care about? They don't care. They don't care. So you kind of have to play like both sides and put yourself in their shoes and be good at good at basically telling them not what they want to hear, but understanding like business goals, business strategies, and trying to make both sides link.
Yes.
That's something that I wasn't prepared for. I didn't have any training on, and I kind of had to just pick up on. And you do see the difference. Where I was like, the projects are now, they're kind of pacing through, they're making progress because you've shown someone in a different team the value that will bring to their team, or you've shown stakeholders the value will bring to them, and things like that. So that's something that I learned in the beginning of my career. Yeah,
that's a huge part of it. Like, where's the value? Where's the value in this? When you're designing, just always ask yourself that. Where's the value in this? Because explaining to stakeholders, like you said, there's so many groups of people that you need to speak to, and you need to say, okay, guys, you need this. And this is how it's going to benefit you. This is how it's going to benefit you. This is how it's going to benefit you. And you have to have all of these people in mind. Because, you know, especially with like the people at the top, they just want to talk numbers. They want to see how they're going to increase the money in their pocket. So things like conversion rates, that is like the most, that's ding to them, because they're like, okay, so more people are going to be on my website if it looks like this. No problem. Sign me up, you know?
And you would naturally lead with, think of the people that are colorblind and they don't care. They don't care. You
Guys,
really have to play. And the thing is,
they you know?
Some of them will just pay the fine and they don't care. And they really like, during the boot camp, they really, really like put that in your head, like WCAG, accessibility, and blah blah.
I love
so all these things that you've come with from the bootcamp that you thought these are the important things. When you go into a real life office and the people with the cash are saying we don't give a heck, you're like, this is what they taught me. So you kind of have to go exactly. You have to kind of go in and learn about their own business values and include that in your design decisions as well.
Yeah, that is super important. And honestly, I think, like you said, it's a scary part of things because you don't expect to be met with so much resistance, because you're like, WCAG,
that is another thing.
It's legal. Like, you need to have this. How are you not going to care about people not being able to read your website? Like, are you being serious? But they really don't care. So just watch out for that, guys. Like, you actually have to tell them what to care about, or else they will not care. So it's really important, and that's definitely a scary part. In your first role, what skills did you take from your life, from your career, from, you know, everything that you experienced up until then? What do you think were the most important skills that you brought in with you that helped you succeed in that role?
There was one skill, I'm trying to think of how to word it. I think it just solely comes down to me being an overthinker. Taking something, like I said, that's probably out of scope or doesn't make sense, and doing the most you can with it. That is something that my manager used to compliment me on quite a lot. He would know, he would give me a project out of scope, but he would do it because, Jessica will figure something out of it. So it's kind of like turning nothing into something. And all of that relies on creativity and research. So justifying why you're making decisions, testing things, constantly iterating things, and being able to justify that, okay, this is what you gave me in the beginning and this is what I've created out of what you've given me. I think that's something that really helped me a lot, and that's how I am in real life with situations that I find myself in. If there's something that doesn't make too sense, once you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, you can kind of make something out of it. So trying to be optimistic and taking something out of nothing and making it into its intended purpose. I think that's a good skill to have as a UX designer, because you would expect that when people come with you with design problems, that they understand their own design problem. A lot of people don't. Even when I get clients now, I want to create this. Have you thought about XYZ? No.
I have a clue. Do
you know who your audience is? No. So that's where the problem solving comes in. You have to be able to think outside the box a lot of the times. So that's a really good skill to have, and that's something that really helped me in my career.
And a lot of people would look at that, be like, oh, you're overcritical, you're over analytical, like,
no,
like how would you get work done if you're always analyzing and criticizing? But in this type of industry and role, it is an amazing skill to have, and it really sets you apart.
It does.
Because then people can know that, like you said, your manager can just give you work. Jessica's got this, just give her 7 days, she's gonna come back to you with something amazing, because that skill that you have in you, that's something that people that would look at and think, oh, how do you even do anything with that? And you've turned it into your superpower. So that is an amazing part of things, you know, just turning your a weakness or what other people would see as a weakness into a superpower, into your unique selling point, which I'm sure is something that you can, when you like do interviews and speak about, you know, other roles, that's something you can easily say, like, you know how to get on with things. And that's probably how you got to the top so quickly, girl, because we're trying to find, girl, let's get to the real tea. God. Okay, let's get to the real tea, because this girl right here, Jessica, how long was it from when you started your junior role, your first initial role, because the title was UX UI designer, to when you got to this managerial role here? Bear in mind, we're in 2024 right now, and you started in 2020. The boot camp you started in 2020.
Yes, I want to say 2020.
Okay. So it's been 4 years.
Yes, it has.
Wow.
It doesn't feel like it has.
I know.
It's been 4 years. Do you know what? I want to say it's a mixture of favor and hard work. Because I remember when I first started, I was someone that when I start something, I'm already thinking of how I'm going to leave, how many months, how many years I'm going to stay here before I now go somewhere else. So I remember when I got my role, I had envisioned to... When did I didn't get my role in 2020, so I got my role in 2021, and I envisioned to stay there for 3 years before I go into senior management. So it happened way quicker than I anticipated, and again, a lot of it was hard work and favor. So how I even fell into it was I had a brilliant manager at the time who was a customer experience service design lead. She played a really, really, really good role into my career and how much I excelled and upskilled. And her manager, who was the manager of the entire team, so he was also my manager, he was the person that would push me and put me a lot of times into those sink or swim situations, and he'd be like, you can do it, like, it's fine. I used to hate it, but he played a pivotal role in my career in terms of like how I was able to grow. And my manager, initial manager, the CX service design lead, she went on sabbatical for 6 months. Came back and realized she don't want to do this job no more.
Oh wow.
She wants to go back to the country that she done her sabbatical in. And I remember her calling me first thing when she came back. She's like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Wow.
And I was initially so sad, like, I can't believe she's going. I was like, so I'm gonna have to open LinkedIn and Indeed after this because I don't know what's coming for me. I don't know if I could not be here without her, but she played such a good role in my career. I just couldn't see myself still staying in the company. So literally not even up to 5 minutes of us ending that call, her manager called me, was like, you're gonna do her role.
Wow. Just like that?
Just like that.
Oh my God.
And I hadn't even been there for 2 years.
What?
So he was like, yeah, you're gonna do her role.
Please remind us, what is the role that they gave you?
So it was like a customer experience service design lead.
Wow.
So I would go
she went from UX UI designer to customer experience service design lead.
Yeah. Literally overnight.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just over a phone call. They did it so casually, like it's nothing. Yeah. Like, oh, by the way, this is your new role, by the way.
Yeah, she was like, would you like to step into the role? And I said, who? Like, I'm still a baby UX UI designer. Like, I'm still figuring stuff out for myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? One of the things that I've learned in the career is say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And when you're there,
yes,
figure it
out later.
Figure it out later.
Yes.
And I learned that from one of my sisters. Like, I used to be, again, over analytical, a big critique. Oh, I can't do this because of this. Or I can't do this because of that. Say yes and figure out after.
Yep.
As I said, when is her notice period? So every session, so just be learning from her. Like, so what do you do when this happens?
Yeah.
Just figure it out as it goes along. And that really helped. So I'd done that for a few months, and unfortunately the company that I loved so much, they were going through some tough times with like redundancies and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And I thought it was a bit of a shaky period, and with me moving house I couldn't risk it. So I left not because I wanted to, but because I felt like I kind of had to. It just wasn't making sense financially at the time. And then I transitioned into a customer experience design manager, which is what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is really crazy. And like you said, that F word, favor, was real, because that amount of ease is not normal.
No, at all.
So
I can respect and realize that it's not it's not a normal, or it's not a steady career progression.
Yeah.
Because I gave myself like a 3 to 4 year plan of moving into senior management, and it happened within 2 years. So I can recognize that. Even till now, sometimes I log into work, I'm like, do these people really think I know what I'm doing? Like, I feel like I'm and then you realize a lot of people are. So
yes.
It does make you feel better. But I'm like,
the higher you
there's
go.
days I wake up like, how did I even get here?
Yeah, I totally agree, honestly, because you be looking at them and people are always complaining like, oh, their manager doesn't know how to do like PowerPoint presentation.
I understand now.
Like that. I'm like, listen, guys, when we get to the top, we want to kick back, relax. Like, do you know what I mean?
Not that I'm one of them, but I didn't have to do a PowerPoint. But
just to clarify,
but I now understand. Like, there's some senior management meetings I'll be in, and I'm like, wow, you guys don't know anything.
They don't have a clue.
You guys don't know anything. I mean, I don't know anything. No, I'm joking. But
girl, honestly. But yeah, that is such an incredible journey, and I'm just so excited for you, because I know it's my first time meeting you, so I don't even know you like that, but I'm so excited for you because it's like a black girl doing the thing, like, and I'm sure in all of these rooms, how many times have you seen anyone that looks like you?
Even where I work now. So okay, if I'm being honest, where I worked before with the council, it was a very ethnically like diverse council anyways.
Oh, nice.
I wouldn't say the council, but within the borough there are a lot of black people, Asian people already living in the borough, so that was very reflective in the actual company.
Amazing.
So my manager was black. I had about 4 black people in my team.
What?
I had before,
I've never heard
when I started,
before,
I had an Asian guy in my team.
Wow.
By the time I left, I only had 1 white person in my team. By the time I left, so it was very diverse anyways, and that was one of the reasons why I loved it. It was very... I could go into work with Apple today and came with someone. Nobody's asking me any stupid question. No one's asking me any stupid question. Like, it was very welcoming. It was very natural to be in. So when I transitioned to where I am now, there aren't that many black people in the room, and I expected that, because the higher you go up, the less black faces you see, even the less women you see. So to see even black women, it's not something you see often. And
that's really unfortunate, and I think that's why it's really important that we have the platforms that we have, and just keep on encouraging other people, because it's hard.
It is.
It's hard when you go into these rooms and you don't see people that look like you. In my first role, when I was a junior designer, there was an intern that came in and she was black, and we had a time.
It's good to see a familiar face.
Honestly, and when you have that and you've experienced that, you almost crave it. Like, just going into the workplace and just being able to be comfortable, just knowing that you've got like an advocate for you. You know, that would be nice to have again, because I haven't had that since her, really.
So where you work now, is it not diverse?
Not at all. No. Like, the woman that got me my job, which my job was also a huge favour story. The woman that got me my job was a black woman, and she left pretty much as soon as I joined. So it was just me and her. And so when she left, I was like,
so you was even her replacement?
No, she's not even in the role at all in the team. She was what was her role? She was basically a hiring manager.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was the one that got me the role. And her, even when she got me the role, she was like, oh, you know, like, I'm really like trying to push diversity in the company, and I'll really appreciate your input and your support. And I was like, oh girl, yes, like, I love that. So when she left, I was like, wow, you really left me hanging. Like, girl,
did you know
we're supposed
she was
to bring
leaving?
black people in together. She gave me a heads up. So she did message me, and she did say that she was going to be no longer with the company. So yeah, I was quite sad about it, but I just thought, okay, cool, you gotta do.
It's, you know what, and it's sad to say, but I feel like even seeing other people that look like you on your level or in the industry is even a luxury. So even when I'm applying for jobs, I'm already applying with that in the back of my head, that there might be no one that looks like me there. And if there is, it's a bonus, but it's not something that I expect, because there aren't that many of us.
Unfortunately.
Wow.
So somebody that is looking at you and was like, I want to be like Jessica one day, how would you advise them on how to get to where you are now? I know that favor was a huge part of it, but in terms of the parts where you had, you know, the most influence in your own journey, what would you say to those people?
Get on your Zoom. Honestly,
I love that.
Because when you join an industry like this, it's not like, okay, I've broken into the industry, I can relax and sit down. The learning is non-stop, and the onus is on you to pick up a book or pick up. Before I joined this industry, I didn't read, and I used to hate reading because of university. Now I'm on Amazon looking at the books that I need to read. It's not compulsory, but I'm saying things like that help. Like, the onus is on you to expand on what you already know. The knowledge is the industry is going to continue expanding. The skill set is going to continue expanding. People talking about AI is going to take your jobs. No, you'll be replaced by people that know better than you. You need to be not on top of everything, because no one knows everything, but the onus is to be on you to like expand your skill set and expand your knowledge. I don't think because you've learnt this you can learn about different things, relevant to your industry, relevant to your job, relevant to the skill sets you already have. I've had to, even with me being in the industry, I've had to learn so much about project management. I don't do project management, but I've had to learn so much about Scrum and agile methodologies, but these are things that would help me within my role. They're not that closely related to UX UI designs, but they help UX UI design. So the onus is on you to basically continue learning, and just don't think that the learning will stop, because it doesn't. Not to make it sound tedious, like, oh, you're going to be learning for forever, but you have to know that that's an aspect of the job for you to excel. Otherwise you'll find yourself at like a stationary level.
Exactly. For a long time. That's so true. And I think like just kind of taking into consideration like that, you know, some companies won't have a training budget. Some companies won't, or most companies, they really don't care much about, you know, what you learn outside of work. So that's true. You really do have to take initiative and decide that that's something you want to do for yourself. So how important is it being part of like online communities, like your Instagram page that has all this information? How important is it that people are part of that?
I think you can't just solely rely on your job. Just because, especially like the workplace looks so differently for everyone. It's good to have something to fall back on, and they do ask you that in interviews, like, oh, can you tell us about anyone that you're into, any people within the industry, what you do to stay up to date? Like, it's good to have those things in the back of your head. Or just seeing things like, there's times when I've gone on Instagram when you was on there and I'll say, oh, she's done that differently to how I would have done it, but that's still something for me to consider for next time. There's a lot of designer bias within the design community, so you only design sometimes for something that you like. So seeing how other people design things is good. Seeing how other people like do things, like their shortcuts, is good. And not just to say that you should only rely on a community where it's only UX UI designers. There's people that I follow that own software development, graphic design, Canva designers, project managers. Some of these things do have some transferable skills. So just having that knowledge to fall back on in your spare time, I think that's good. It really does help with the job role, and helps with your knowledge as well. So the knowledge just doesn't always have to be book based or anything like that. It could just be something that you've seen on Instagram or seen on TikTok.
I love that. I love that, because I think people might get a bit scared. Like I said, read your books. But just being like a well-rounded learner, just taking information from wherever you are. I think the key thing is be teachable and consistently learning.
Honestly,
so that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So I have a few closing questions for you before we wrap up. The first one is, what is your biggest project achievement so far? What's your biggest career achievement so far?
Ooh, my biggest career achievement is in like a project that I've delivered, or
just anything that you until presently that you feel like every time you think of it, you're like, that was the pinnacle of success for me, or that was your most proudest moment, or that's something that you wanted to shout from the rooftops about when it happened.
I remember coming into all staff meeting in the council that I worked for previously, and they were doing like awards. I had just joined the meeting. It was an in-person meeting. I had not read the agenda, so I didn't know what I was getting into. And I remember halfway through the meeting realizing that it was within the council, each service were doing a presentation. So my manager was in the presentation for our service, and each manager was given an award to someone within their team. And I remember just being on my phone like, I don't even know why I'm here. And I remember him
Them ones, it could have been
saying my name for the award. And the award was for an employee that it's called Celebrating Success Award. So an employee that goes out of their way for residents, puts their shoes put themselves in the shoes of the resident, and makes good design decisions and blah blah blah. So it was like an employee of the month kind of award.
Nice.
I remember that being like the moment where I thought, okay, I'm meant to actually be in this role, because for me to get that recognition, not only in front of my team but in front of like the whole organization, I was like, okay, that was like the pinnacle. Like that was the day that I realized, okay, I'm doing something right here.
Yeah.
Because there's so many projects that happen as a designer that sometimes you don't get your accolades for. It's just onto the next project. So the fact that he was able to recognize that, that really was the icing on the cake for me while I was there. Yeah.
Wow. So guys, we actually have an award-winning designer on the podcast. I had no idea, girl.
Yeah.
But that is amazing, honestly. And I love that companies do that. And your company did that for you, because I can imagine like the boost in confidence that it gave you as well. Like now you know, like no matter what happens after this point, you know that you have what it takes.
Exactly. I think recognition is such a big thing within the design community as well, because there's a lot of comparison. There's a lot of things that change. So when you're being recognized for doing something good in such a competitive industry, it's like it's just lets you know that, okay, I'm doing something good here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh wow.
Yeah.
And so how do you like stay motivated throughout all the turns and the changes and the challenges? How do you stay focused and stay motivated and just keep on loving what you're doing?
You're my honest answer.
I'm scared what she's gonna say, guys.
How would I word this? Salaries.
Just keeping it all the way real. I love it.
On the days where I'm like, oh, there's so much work for me to do, just go and look on Indeed and look at some of the salaries that people are willing to pay for a school that you already have.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll find motivation. You will find the motivation.
Have you ever looked at the price, like the cost per hour of your hours? Because obviously, when you're
like contracting or
no, so in your company, public sector, maybe it's different, because with my company, we have to get the clients in, and so it has to be sold. Our services have to be sold to the client, and so when our services are being sold to the client, there's a price tag that's attached to that, and that price is per hour. So I've seen the price per hour that my company are charging for my services. Yes, and when I see the number, because we've had projects that's like 200k. And that is a small project, and we don't have enough time.
And you tell how will you not find the motivation?
I'm looking at myself like, if I really had the time and the energy, I should be your competitor.
Really?
Because the money that they're making for one small project, a small project is 6 figures, a small one.
And that is what keeps you motivated. Because these are things that people are always going to need.
Exactly.
And this is the skill that I have and that I love. So it's not going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah.
So if you're going to pay for it, I will do it.
Yeah.
It's literally that simple. Like that's what keeps me motivated when I see, and other than the fact that I already love it and I would say I'm quite good at it. If you're gonna pay me for it, I love it even more. I will love it even more.
Yeah.
So it's literally a no-brainer.
Yeah. I love that. Oh wow.
I don't know if that's the best answer I should give. I should say something like, no. It's the salary.
If that's your answer, we accept it here. Because genuinely, that's why I was saying I support job hopping, because that's the quickest way you'll get up there in your salary.
Yeah.
Because if you keep waiting for promotion and you keep waiting for people to see your value, I mean, girl, just leave the job and get a new one. You can double your salary that way.
Yep.
You know? So that's really cool. So do you have any regrets in your journey so far? Is there anything that you regret doing or not doing so far?
I regret not going into the industry faster than I did.
Wow.
I think everything had to happen for a reason.
Yeah.
But with a lot of people that are trying to break into tech, there is a cloud of confusion as to tech is so, and that's why sometimes I know I've used it quite a lot today, but I do hate the term breaking into tech, because tech is so wide.
Yeah.
There's healthcare tech, there's insurance tech, there's fintech, and then even within that there's project management, there's designers, there's developers, there's so many roles. Skills, so breaking tech is so broad for everyone, and it looks so different for everybody. I think because I was still finding my feet, I initially fell into coding and development. I kind of regret not going straight into UX UI, maybe because at the time I didn't think it was tech enough for what I was looking for, but after being in the industry, it's tech enough. So if I had had that exposure probably back in secondary school, I might have even gone straight into it from uni. Rather than going and doing something that I wasn't too sure about, and then taking just going all this way to find out that I actually like UX UI design, I would have just gone straight into it.
Oh wow, yeah, that makes sense. Wow, well, thank you so much, Jessica, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your knowledge, all of the nuggets that you shared with us today.
Thank you.
I feel like I've learned so much personally. I'm gonna go home and be like, wow, okay, so Jessica said I should do it like this, I need to do it like this. So yeah, I just really appreciate your time, and I appreciate you coming on the show. Don't forget, guys, check out her website, www.designsbyjess.co.uk. Follow her on Instagram, on all the platforms that she's currently on, and make sure that you're liking, commenting, subscribing to the podcast, and just stay tuned for my next guest and my next episodes. Thank you, and welcome to season 2. Don't forget, guys, your diversity is your strength.
Oh, I love that.
Bye.
Bye.